So this is not the video I wanted to make this week. I wanted to make a video on a brand new Sega Genesis and Mega Drive game that's coming out. We'll have to save that for next week. Instead, we're going to be talking about a Kickstarter that I backed and promoted on this channel. It was for a Sega Genesis and Mega Drive game called Cyber Mission. Cyber Mission is a Steam game that's been ported over to the Mega Drive, and it looks absolutely awesome. But there's a big problem with the Kickstarter. Now, the game is being ported and managed by PSCDGames. These guys make a ton of awesome games, and they work with developers to bring games to the Sega Mega Drive. They do an amazing job. They're one of my favorite indie developers out there. But there's a problem with their Kickstarter. They're developing the game in good faith, and it's still in development. However, the funds for the game were managed by the original studio that own the IP, who own the game. And that studio is called Game Energy Studio. Now, that studio received the money we paid to the Kickstarter, and then what they're supposed to do is take their cut of the money and then send on the rest of the money to PSCDGames so that they can pay their staff to make the game. What's happened is Game Energy Studio have kept the money. They're not giving it to PSCDGames, and they're not returning it to us. They've just kept the money outright. And I'll let the guys from PSCDGames in a minute explain exactly what's happened. But essentially, they're refusing to give the money to PSCDGames, and they're refusing to give the money back to us. They're pretty much scamming us. Now, PSCDGames have put a video out explaining everything. They've also said that they're going to continue developing the game because they own the rights now for the Mega Drive, but they're doing it under no money, right? They're getting no money for it. And just so you understand what it's like as a games developer, if you don't get any money, you can't afford to pay any bills, right? And that's your own bills. You can't afford to eat, you can't afford to pay for your mortgage, you can't afford anything. Games development, you live on a very thin margin of cash, right? Until your game actually comes out and it sells, you're basically living on nothing. So these studios, and especially independent studios, need this injection of cash so that they can build the games, pay their staff, and live out normal lives. And them not getting this money means that they've been hit pretty hard by it. Now, this is not the first time this has happened to PSCDGames. It's happened once before with Hunter Girls, which I have. Where's Hunter Girls? I think I have Hunter Girls here somewhere. Here it is. I've got Hunter Girls here. Now, in that situation, PSCDGames worked really hard with the publisher to make sure that we got refunded on Kickstarter. Then they carried on developing Hunter Girls without any cash again and released it on their own store so that we could still buy it. So we didn't lose out on anything. As Mega Drive and Genesis collectors, we lost out on nothing. We got our money back and we had the option to go and buy it again from their store, and actually turned out to be a little bit cheaper. So they worked hard there, and I don't know what it is. I think maybe because they're a Ukrainian-Russian team, people feel that they can take advantage, or some people feel they can take advantage of them. But nevertheless, this time round, they've tried everything with the publisher, the person who owns the game, to just refund us. If they don't want to carry on with the deal, they've said, look, just refund the backers so that we get our money back, and we'll develop the game with no money again, and we'll hope that the community buy the game off of our store, and that's how we'll make our money back. They're really conscious that their reputation has been irreparably harmed by these two deals that they've done, and they're working now to set themselves up as a European entity so that they can run the Kickstarters themselves. That way they've got no middleman in between. This doesn't affect any of their other projects. So Black Jewel Reborn, still going ahead. I've seen footage of it. It looks absolutely stunning. That game's taking a little bit longer because they're adding a ton of new content into it. And I'm always a big fan of a game being delayed and being better than a game being rushed out and being bad, right? What we don't want is a terrible game. So we want the best game we can get. They're still doing work on that, and I think they'll do an update soon, and I'll ask the guys to send me over a playable demo as well so that we can play through and see just some of the new stuff that they've put in there. They still work on the Resident Evil remake. I keep on telling the guys, just release that. Just release that and all your money problems will be over, because everyone in the Mega Drive and Genesis community would buy a Resident Evil remake for our console. But that still continues, and they've got a number of other little projects that they're working on. But in this instance, the developer, let me just check in, Game Energy Studio, aren't paying anything. They're keeping our money. They're refusing to give the money back.
Our team cannot launch Kickstarter campaign itself, and therefore we have to resort to the services of intermediaries. And this campaign was mediated by the head of the Game Energy Studio team, developer of the original Cyber Mission game for PC, 𝗫ηση𝘂𝗿. According to the terms of our agreement, he had only to start Kickstarter campaign for us. We handled the design, promotion, and fundraising. After campaign was successfully funded, he had to receive the money into his account, take his percentage of the net profit, and transfer the rest of the money to our team for the game development. Having received your money, 𝗫ηση𝘂𝗿𝗄𝗄 decided not to fulfill the terms of the agreement. He gave us new ultimatum conditions, according to which we had to finish the game with our own money, as well as print the entire batch of cartridges, send it to you. And perhaps only after that, he would transfer this money to us. To be honest, I don't even understand why he decided that this money was intended for him. In such conditions, the game, as you understand, is impossible to make. We brought this information to him and asked him to return your money to you. As far as I know, he did not return the money to anyone, and did not make any statements either.
We can get our money back, but we have to fill out a couple of forms. So PSCDGames have done all the work with Kickstarter. Kickstarter won't give them the money because they don't own the Kickstarter. This Game Energy Studios owns the Kickstarter. So we have to fill out claim forms. I'll put a link to where you can get those claim forms. If you fill those out and send them to Kickstarter and to PSCDGames, PSCDGames are going to work on our behalf to get us refunded our money from Kickstarter. So again, these guys are super genuine. They really understand that a lot of us are going to be pissed off, frankly, that we've not got our money back and we've not got our game. And they know that it's hurting their reputation, and they're doing everything they can do. Believe me, I've had so many email communications back and forth the last week. They're panicking, they're upset. They've tried everything they can possibly try to get this publisher, Game Energy Studio, to help refund our cash, but they basically just want to keep our money. So they're doing what they can now to get us refunded, but they need your help. They need you to fill out these forms. I think it's just a couple of lines you have to fill out about your Kickstarter, the number of the backer you were, and a couple of other details. It's nothing arduous. And then if we get enough people fill out these forms, then we'll get the money back and we'll get refunded. PSCDGames will continue to develop the game. Like I said, they own the rights on the Mega Drive, so they'll continue to develop the game on their own money, and then they'll give us an opportunity to buy the game again from their web store. So that's what they're looking for. Us to get refunded, they'll continue to develop the game, and then if you want to, you can buy the game directly from them. And like I said, buying the games directly from them, always deliver, right? Within a week, I got this, and there's no hassle at all. So when you're buying directly from them, all the games I've bought from them, they come instantly, no problem at all. It's just when they've used this intermediary companies twice only as well to kind of do these Kickstarter deals. So that's the issue. That's the problem. Again, like I said, I want to focus on the positives of the community, but every now and then we get some bad actors. And I'm a games developer, and it's terrible to see that we have studios and developers that do this. 𝗴𝗺𝗶𝗴𝗏 Games, Game Energy Studio, these are bad actors in the games industry. These are people that are willing to screw over the community and fans to make a quick buck. And it's something we shouldn't have to stand for. But luckily, as many bad actors there are 10 times the number of great developers out there that are just focused on wanting to give us great games for our consoles. So that's all for this week's video, and I'll catch you on the next one.